What is going on YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yaquatiz. This is your review for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 14, episode 2. So we pick up where we left off with Kyle saying they both have their sides of what happened, and saying this to Dorit. Dorit says there's like their history counts, i.e., what was said on Amazon Live, and the whole Amazon Live thing, her saying that, they really didn't have that great of a friendship. So she's saying like their history does matter. And look, I don't follow them on social media, but I have seen, pictures and whatnot, especially watching the show where they have gone on trips together. And even seeing how their respective children are with the others, you clearly see they have a friendship. And yes, Kyle was coming from a hurt place, but Dorit's like, don't do that. Kyle brings up being hurt at BravoCon. And one thing that I noticed is her bringing it up is this is something that people tend to do. I've been guilty of it, but I've had to catch myself in the process of doing it. Where rather than bring up the issue that is truly bothering us, we will find something else. Not saying that's not an issue, but we will find something else, use that as this is my issue, and put the weight of the real issue behind that. Saying all that to say the BravoCon stuff, you're not going to get me to believe her saying, "Oh, well, I guess Kyle is now, the least of the richer sisters." No, there's something else that obviously Kyle doesn't want to address. Whatever. Then says, they don't claim and then she says that Dorit claims that Kyle turns on her tears when it's convenient. And you do. And you look, all I'm gonna say is the Amsterdam trip, because I was trying to figure out why she was so dang on upset when a lot of what Kim was saying had nothing to do with Kyle. Yet Kyle is sitting here crying, running out the door, crying and whatnot. Like, girl, if you don't go somewhere. So Dorit smiles and says, "You're doing exactly what I thought you would." Dorit feels her reasoning for the Amazon Live stunt was some BS and believes that she's really mad because on Watch What Happens Live, Dorit said that the closer Kyle gets to Morgan, the further, they are from each other. And I can believe that. But again, it's only speculation. They're close enough to where Dorit probably might be hitting the nail on the head. But it's going to take Kyle being honest and being forthcoming. Kyle wants grace because of her last 2 years. And this is one of those where, like, I hear you, but that's a crock of bull. Like, everybody is going through something. And what we suck at doing as people is we want to quantify how what I'm going through is worse than what you're going through. And though objectively it might be, if I'm going through what I'm going through, you're not, it don't matter what you're going through. You're not finna sit here and try to eclipse what it is that I'm going through. Because we live two different lives. We have different sets of problems, and you're not finna do that. And her whole thing is, I've had a rough 2 years, because I would have been like, so that gives you permission to be an asshole? I think not. I've had a conversation with one of my cousins, love this person dearly. And you know what, I'm not even gonna say that because then somebody's gonna get mad at me. But let's just say I call out those close to me where there's not a time limit on grief, there's not a time limit on this or that, but I will let them know where is okay, you're using this as a crutch now. Either we finna build a bridge, get over it. Either we finna go to therapy. But you've been giving me the same song and dance for how long? And I feel like that's what this is. I can say that much. So Dorit feels, she did give her grace, especially after dissing their friendship. But grace time is over. I'm like, I like that grace time is over. So Kyle leaves and she's just standing there. It appears that she's waiting for her Uber or whatever production ride they may have. But the way that looked, it looked like she was getting ready to go, and production told her, "No, you finna wait because we need to get some more time up out of you." Because it's just convenient that she was just standing there. Garcelle asked her what happened. They talk, and then Dorit and Kyle eventually leave. So now we get our full introduction to Bozma. So I think called her Boz last week. So it's Boz. If I did, my apologies. But I did hit the nail on the head where I said in the next episode, this episode, we're going to get a formal introduction to who she is. I happen to be right. So her name is Ghanaian and it means goddess. I love that. That is so beautiful. And she says, every time you say my name, you're conjuring it. I love it. So, Forbes had named her number one influential CMO in the world. Ebony, one of the most powerful women. Since retiring, she's been doing podcasts and workshops because she thought that once retiring, I wasn't finna do nothing. And she was like, it couldn't be any different. And I hear that from a lot of people. Or when they retire, they may not be doing exactly what they were doing, but it's hard for them to just stop. And I've even heard, and it's regardless of age, when someone retires, but when you slow down, it's almost like age catches up with you, and it seems like you just start getting aches and pains and all this stuff from random places. I'm only saying that because when I got out of the military, I because what I got out in 19 and I officially went back to the workforce officially last year, even though I was doing home care. That doesn't equate to being back in the workforce. And it just seemed like any and everything started aching. Even though I was still active, I wasn't as active. But I'm saying like some people just gotta keep moving. So she's busy. And she has started a workshop called Badass Workshop because she was asked, how do you get to that corner office? And she was like, if I had $1 for every time I asked that, she's like, well, I'm already a millionaire, but I'll be even more of a millionaire. I'm like, I know that's right. So she talks about pivoting, to your best self. She says 10 years, in the PepsiCo. She negotiated a deal with, the NFL for PepsiCo to sponsor the halftime show. Few months later, finds out that her husband is terminal with cancer. 3 months later, he passed on. And last week, I did say that they divorced. They did not. I misinterpreted. Let me clear that up. And she said it saddens her because she was robbed. I'm sorry, her daughter was. I'm sorry. Yeah, her daughter was robbed of being. No, her husband was robbed of being a father to their daughter, and their daughter was robbed of having her father. I don't know how I messed that up. And she says in 2014, she was up for review and was told she hasn't hit enough home runs, and says that the trauma and the pivoting point led her to that moment, and she likes not having to answer to people anymore, which is a great thing when you can just do what you want to do. I will say that working, like I said, I haven't worked for corporate America. Think jobs very close to that. But I've even learned, even when you're hitting all the marks and whatnot, you knocking it out the park, there's always going to be room for improvement, because they don't ever, most people, and it has nothing to do with ethnicity or whatever, but they don't ever want you to feel as if, you're that person. They always feel that, you can always reach for something greater, even though you're knocking things out the park that people in your same position and possibly age group ain't even doing. But again, I'm happy for Bozma, happy that she done moved on and she can do her thug this. I love it. So we get Cal and Sutton. Sutton shares the difficulty, with the accusations of last year from Kyle. In her interview, she's asked, why do you trust Kyle? And she replies, who said I trust her? I near about fell off this dang on couch. Because I know that's right. Because I'll be side-eyeing Sutton if it's like, oh, so we back to being trustworthy of people. But okay, that's cool. So Sutton tells her, she loves her bad. Kyle said she got it last year. I think she said Sandra Pay, I believe. And Sutton wants to know, was that their last family trip? And Kyle says she doesn't know, but pretty much brings up an excursion they had, this past April. And says, they get along. Sutton lets her know when it comes to money, People can be different. Kyle says, well, that can't be because everything is 50-50. And, she mentions that he stated in his book pretty much that he wouldn't have what he has if it wasn't for Kyle. Sutton's whole thing is, baby, in divorce court, I don't think that book is gonna hold up. And the longer this thing goes on, it can, get real nasty. It can get dirty and whatnot. And she's pretty much telling her, recommending this, like right now is probably the time to file. Like, don't get caught up in La La Land and thinking that things are going to change when this man is clearly showing you he don't want you. Kyle's not liking the conversation. Then we jump to Bozma because we're gonna actually. I'll just finish out this scene because it kind of. Nah, I'll do it the way that is. So we jump to Bozma. She talks with her assistant, Nico, about Dorit and her coming over and how she had a great first impression of them. Nico was like, "Yeah, first impressions can sometimes be deceiving." I'm like, "Come on, you better say a word." And Erica, when she gets there, she jumps right in, asks her what's her perception of the girls. Bozeman mentions her having Sutton over, and Sutton mentioning, Kyle and Dorit not seeing eye to eye. Now, what I will say is, I like how Bozeman did that pivot. I called it. I loved it because it's almost kind of a. I don't know. I ain't finna get the tea from y'all, but I'm finna use this moment to let y'all spill some tea. Doris says Kyle has isolated her. Bozma is asking engaging questions. Asks her, she wants to know why. Doris shrugs and says she doesn't really know because Kyle keeps giving different answers, and we do see the different answers. And what that is, that goes back to what I previously said, that Kyle is not addressing her real issue with Dorit. Not to say that everything that she's saying isn't a real issue, but it's not the core issue. And once Kyle can address the core issue, they might be able to get to some type of resolution, even though Dorit is trying to save her diamond. So I don't know, but I'm just saying. So Bozo kind of wants to know, like, is there a way forward? And Dorit doesn't know because she feel Kyle plays the whole "let me make Dorit feel bad for me" card as a way to control her, and she's over it, saying, "I'm not doing that anymore." We cut back to Kyle and Sutton asks Kyle about the party. Kyle says she's pulled away from Dorit because of her actions. Sutton asks her, "Okay, well, do you miss Dorit?" Kyle is like, "I'm too angry for that right now," and she doesn't care. I'm sorry, she can't be. Dorit can't be mad because she's made this bed, so now she has to lie in it. All right, Kyle. Can't wait to see how this plays out. And really quickly, if y'all hear any noise in the background, y'all fur niece, she's over here cleaning herself. She's on vacation right now, so just try to ignore it if you hear it, if not, whatever. And if I brought your attention to it, I'm sorry. So we go back to Bozma, Dorit, and Erica, and Dorit feels like with Kyle, there's two sets of rules, one set for her and one set for everybody else. Erica says, she can see where both women are coming from because they both have been going through rough separations. And this whole entire time, I was looking at Erica kind of, side eye just a little bit because I've been in positions to where I have, friend groups where, I mean, for the most part, I'm Switzerland in it. And I've always said, like, if y'all want to retell something that happened, I'm all for it because, again, we're speaking facts. Once we go from facts to now we're talking a little nasty and there's digs and whatnot, is when I have to physically remove myself because that's going to look crazy on me, especially if it ever gets back, because then it's going to be, oh, okay, so yeah, you was sitting there and you ain't saying nothing, da 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 da. So Erica does say something. My only question is, and maybe it's happened but we haven't seen it, is if Erica understand both perspectives, at what point has she or is she going to sit down and be like, I hear what you're saying, but let me provide clarity and try to get them to see the other side. They may not want to, but again, you can always plant the seed. Bozma asks, how are things with the kids? And, Doree's like, well, the kids think that he's working, which has pretty much been the norm because, he would get to drinking. We would have real nasty fights, and then he would just leave for weeks at a time. So she was using him, quote unquote, working as a way to justify where he's been with the kids. So she's kind of really using that. So nothing is really off when it comes to them and the kids. So Bozma asks, is there room for reconciliation? And Doree's like, there's always reconciliation. Now, she appeared to be a little teary eyed, but I don't know. It seemed like she might have been trying to force it. Yeah, I'm just being cynical, but I'm just saying. So we get Sutton. We're at Sutton's house. She's prepping for a pizza and PJ's party for Kyle, to kind of cheer her up. Kathy and Erica arrive. Sutton wants to do this to cheer Kyle up because she had shared that Mauricio had replaced a picture of her and himself that was in his home office with a picture of him and one of the ladies that I guess he was on Dancing with the Stars, but that lady. And Erica seems shocked. Kathy is more or less like, Kathy has the look of, I can't wait for this to be over because I've been done with this mother for a hot while. And even alluded to, when, she's on her show, or when, she's on TV and whatnot, she does everything possible not to talk about that man. She like Keisha Cole. I just want it to be over. Because Mauricio has apparently said some disparaging things about Kathy and her husband, and also, from what I was able to ascertain, did them dirty. So yeah, really no love lost there. So they drive to Kyle's house, and it's moments like this that I can appreciate where it's them being funny. It's not like on Potomac where you got two people dressing up in male clothing, trying to see if somebody lives in a certain location, but this is them driving over there to get Kyle to open up the gate so they can surprise her with this pizza party. And you have Kathy trying to, switch up her voice, to try to trick Kyle or whatnot. It's funny, it's cute, it's very performative. I really enjoyed the theatrics. And what I will say is, of course, they have cameras there, and maybe Kyle thought that this was enough of her, and being in a quiet house with her daughter, that was gonna be enough to sustain a scene. Okay, but nevertheless, come over. They make pizza. Kathy had brought PJs and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised if either the pizza or the PJs was a market employee. Because again, Kathy could come on here and promote something. Trust me when I say it. They talk about they talk about Mauricio moving out. Kyle talks about looking at their wedding photos and being teary-eyed about it and being sad. Kathy mocks Mauricio's IG photos. Kyle is not amused. He's like, don't do that. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Just, them just doing what they can to cheer her up. And, Kyle just being all down in the dumps. So we end the episode with Dorit and PK. PK got a new wardrobe and says, this is single PK while modeling. Now, Dorit says that's something to make somebody mad. Look, for real, I don't know who. Okay. There is a chance this is literally just them playing with their marriage for a plot line, possibly. I'm gonna pretend as if it's not. But a mofo sitting here like, oh yeah, this is single me, and like showing off a brand new dress and all that other stuff. I'll be like, oh, single you? See that? That's when we gotta play the I don't care game, and it's like, okay, two can play. Okay, y'all know I'm petty. But Dorit took it on the chin. He talks about his drinking as a disease, and he now has clarity. And then he says that, they are friends, husband and wife, but they don't speak to each other nicely. And if they were to speak to the server the way they speak to each other, they'd be thrown out. And look, if like I said, with the sobriety, yeah, clarity is going to come, and he's seeing that they don't have great communication skills. And before I finish this, if this is true, I wonder, is PK really just done? Because at no point did we hear anything about couples therapy. And it does seem that he's done a lot of self reflecting and is able to articulate how he's feeling and why he feels the way that he feels. I wonder if couples therapy is off the table. But anyway, um, let me see. He says, I don't question the love, but it's like we don't like each other. And he said that, I'm like, boy, howdy, because I've had conversations with people, and I'm just like, me being me, if I marry, it's probably not finna be for love. It's really not. And my experience with love, especially dealing with relatives, is, and just with people in general, we tend to we tend to treat people that we like better than those that we quote unquote love, because it's almost like those that we love is we can do wrong by them, treat them dirty, talk them nasty, and because we quote unquote love them, and because of quote unquote titles and structure and whatnot, that they're always going to be around because they're expected to take it. Do with that what you will. But he brings that up. Dorit asks if he likes her, and he replies, "There are times that I don't." And I'm like, "Oh well, we're being honest here." Though again, I even though this seemed like it was therapy for them, I wish they would have been in couples therapy so they could have had a mediator be able to ask probing questions and go a little bit deeper. Um and he says there are times I don't, but I never want to not like you. He mentions he made a big change for her, which was the not drinking, but then says that she hasn't really made any big changes when it comes to him. PK tells her she knows his touch points, and if mad, will go there. And I don't disagree. You know someone long enough in a relationship with someone long enough, you know exactly what to say to pull them up out of character. We all do. And Doree has said that they have gone from just yelling at each other to yelling and cursing at each other to yelling and cursing at each other, but now they're taking low digs, and that's where they are, and that's the progression. She said that in her interview. Doris says, okay, when he's drunk and gets into a mood, he can't come out of it. PK says he used to be like her number one. In a marriage, he says a spouse should come before the kids. Debatable, but okay. You used to be there with me and you're not anymore. And he says, he brought her in and she's made him feel less than so many times. And when he said that, I'm like, well, that right there, because it's one of those where I've noticed, especially when you're talking with people and they're going through their issues and whatnot, you let them talk long enough, you'll eventually get to the source of the fire. And from there, probably being able to put out that flame. And Dorit has said, this is the first time, not that you've said this to me, it's the first time that you said it like this. Pretty much not just in a palatable way, but you're not yelling at me. You're not cursing at me. And I can receive it more, because she's even said that, he's like, yeah, you're emasculating me and da 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 da. He sold you. But now it's almost like she can receive it. And I don't know if it's her being on the show or whatever, but again, his whole thing is like, I brought you in, and now it's like he doesn't have a place. I'm like, deep. Again, we talking about some real stuff here. I can appreciate it. And even if this is being played up for the cameras, I can appreciate stuff like this. Like if it's gonna be fake, make it believable. You feel what I'm saying? And he says, though, he needs space. You're the mother of my children, and I am here if you need me. They're we like, well, we talk 5 times a day, and PK pretty much wants that to stop. He says that's too much codependency. And Dorit doesn't know where they go next. And that is the end of the episode. It's pretty good. pretty good. You know, I ain't even gonna lie. Y'all got pretty much 25 minutes out of me. I did a lot of talking and some pontificating. But that is all that I have. Tomorrow is, gobble gobble day, whether, whatever y'all want to call it, Friendsgiving, whatever, a day off for many of us. Um, um, I am going to do my best to get all of the Bell Collective reviews out so y'all have something to watch tomorrow. For those who have to work, hey, hopefully you get that time and a half and that holiday pay. For those who don't, enjoy your time with your families. Hopefully, rest up, eat some good food, and like I said, you'll have some content for me to watch to help y'all with the cooking, the cleaning, whatever it may be. So, with that being said, I love and appreciate all of you. Please be safe out there. Don't do nothing crazy because I need y'all here. We almost there. We about to make it into 2025. All right. So y'all have a blessed day, and I will see you all for the next video. Peace out.